Keeping an eye on a lot of things here. Folks, welcome back.
Oh, we got a flag.
We did.
Oh no.
Welcome back to the Weekly Narrative.
Hello, folks.
I'm Jeremy and your co-host, Delaney.
Howdy, howdy.
On my left, and that's my voice in the background. Hope you enjoyed that little echo. Currently troubleshooting a video issue here, but we'll wait a couple minutes here, see if it resolves itself.
Yeah.
I think we might be getting some Russian or potentially Chinese interference.
Maybe, or, I mean, it's not windy like it was the other night and caused us to be kind of glitchy and laggy. Oh no, oh no.
Yeah, we're going to lose that TV there, but I think that's okay.
Oh, okay. Well.
Let's see if that resolves the issue. Come on in, guys. Grab a seat. We're going to be talking about a very interesting set of things tonight. As you can see from the stream title, we're going to be talking about a study that's come out recently where everyone is talking about, or at least it's being cited as the source of truth for conservative bias in social media and how it's not real. So we've heard about, social media biases. Definitely biased against the right over the last few years, and this study has come out and basically says that that's unfounded. That claim is unfounded.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll see about that.
So we'll take a look at that study, and then we're going to talk about, it's Black History Month. Did you know that?
Yes, I did, actually. I learned that a long time ago.
Yeah, no, you did know that because you were the one that reminded me.
Yes, I had to.
Because I forgot, and we're going to be talking about Black History Month today, and how we can close the wealth gap.
Yep. At least what the so-called black leaders are saying is closing that wealth gap.
We're going to cede to the black leaders, and see what they have to say.
Because we're not allowed to have an opinion about it because we're not black. So we're going to talk.
That's right.
At least that's what the blacks have told me.
You got this information. Okay, I see.
Yeah, I mean, I know quite a few blacks.
We're not allowed to have opinions on those particular things. I think that might classify as white supremacy, but we're gonna look at what they say anyway.
Yeah, and then we'll give our little take and see what y'all think too. So it'll be fun.
Kind of stalling out a little bit here just to watch the video.
Sorry, folks.
You guys let me know what you see on your end, but troubleshooting and live streaming at the same time. Very high skill stack is needed for what you're witnessing before you right now. But there's a small chance we might need to restart the stream here.
Oh no. Well,
we'll keep it going and see what it looks like on the viewers end. There is some more stuff we're going to be talking about, and that is YouTube implementing affirmative action.
Okay.
So not everyone's a YouTube creator. You may not know this, but they sent out an email recently, and they're updating us on their agenda.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what's going to be happening with affirmative action. They're going to start collecting data like gender and race and see how your channels perform compared to other races and other genders.
Okay.
And make sure there's no view gaps.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So channels that primarily get white viewers are going to have to diversify and get black viewers. Like that.
Maybe.
We'll see. Yeah.
And we got some funny stories from the school world. We love to cover the school idiocy. We got one about San Francisco school district says that acronyms are white supremacy.
Oh.
No, you heard that. You heard that correctly.
Acronyms.
So don't say GIF.
Okay.
Or laser.
Okay.
Which is an acronym. And maybe you didn't know that.
I didn't know.
Laser is an acronym. Scuba is an acronym.
Oh.
You can't say scuba.
I don't know.
So scuba is white supremacy.
Oh, okay.
Laser is a white supremacy. And acronyms in general are white supremacy. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
Biden's opened up some more cages for kids.
Yay!
Yeah, so we're getting a lot of good progressive action.
Wait, did he open the cages back up that Trump tried to close back in 2018?
So.
Oh, okay. The
ones that he originally made under Obama.
Oh, okay. So he's just opening up those ones that he made already. Cool.
Reopening them.
Reopening.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool with me.
We'll get into it. We'll find out the details, and that is the agenda for today. So you know what time it is now, right? Time to roll that beautiful intro.
Yes.
Welcome back to the weekly narrative number 36. That's right, we're at number 36.
Numero something something.
36.
36?
I think that's how you say it.
I think so in Spanish.
Quick announcement update for you guys. We are now live on iTunes
Oh,
and Stitcher
big time.
and Spotify.
Okay.
So we are exporting this now as a podcast. The podcast is called The Alt Centrist.
Okay.
So if you want to hear the audio versions of this, if you'd rather watch the audio version or listen to, if you'd rather watch the audio version, if you're on the right drugs, you can watch the audio version.
Yeah.
If you'd rather listen to the audio version, you know where to find us now. Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, and I don't know if Google's approved us yet, but we are applying for there as well. In case you guys didn't know, I have to go through like an approval process where some purple-haired lesbian has to review my show, and then they have to allow me on. So
They say yay or nay. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
we'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're probably doing transcriptions of all the text that's in the podcast, and they just heard me call them lesbians, so
Yeah.
it's all over.
They're,
It didn't last very long.
They're going to get offended and say that you're not inclusive enough.
It's all over.
Because apparently being a lesbian means you're a transphobe.
That's right. Now, you know what? There was one more story that I wanted to start out with that I didn't mention in the intro, and that is that there was another coup that happened. Did you guys know this?
Oh, no, I didn't.
What's up, Osis? We got Dave, Dari, Athenian, Arian in chat. Welcome, guys. There was a coup that happened in Seattle, and actually, you want to
I was going to say, let me go get that window.
close that window so we don't have.
Don't get so much urban noise.
The urban ambience is nice, but it might get a little excessive.
Might get a little excessive with how some of these people like to drive up and down these streets.
From MSN.com, SWAT team forcibly removes homeless activists who tried to take over hotel. So you notice they use a little bit of different language here. They don't call it a coup immediately, but you'll find that it meets all the requirements of the coup, as we've recently seen the term used in media.
Okay.
One day ago, a SWAT team and police officers have been forcibly removing homeless activists who tried to take over a hotel in the city of Olympia in Washington.
Oh, okay.
Olympia is one of those places where there's constant rioting and
I
protesting,
was going to say it's in Washington.
similar to
so-
Portland.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a Portland effect
Portland,
there.
Seattle, Olympia, they're all a bunch of just a bunch of riot
Please say
places.
somebody took Seattle. No, unfortunately, they didn't. It wasn't a successful coup.
No.
But the campaigners from Oli Housing Now, a coalition of Olympia residents working to end homelessness, entered the Red Lion Inn and Suites at 621 Capitol Way on Sunday morning. Meanwhile, SWAT teams were seen moving through the lobby with at least 30 police vehicles surrounding the hotel as officers worked to clear the building, according to freelance reporter that I'm not going to name. In a statement, the Olympia Police Department said hotel staff began making 911 calls around 11 a.m. to report that a group of people were attempting to forcibly take over the hotel.
Wow. Okay.
Does this sound like a familiar
Sounds a
incident?
lot. Sounds like Chaz.
Sound like any recent?
Chaz, Chop, Raz.
No,
whatever.
I'm thinking bigger.
Oh, the storming of the Capitol.
The Capitol. That's right.
They're like, yes, we want it. Let's take it.
That's so it said 45 members of this. There are 45 people that took over the inside of the hotel.
Wow.
And this window keeps moving on me. So MSN, you need to get with your web designer and make a page that doesn't move when I'm trying to read it.
Yeah.
Please. OPD staff said staffs sheltered in the basement throughout the afternoon and evening. This was like a standoff. I skipped the best part. Police said the employees told them they felt under threat from the group, who were allegedly carrying items like hatchets, batons, and knives.
Wow.
An employee was apparently assaulted as well, the police statement said. At least 17 rooms have been reserved by the OHN before the takeover, and the homeless people took up these rooms when activists entered the hotel. So these 40 rioters brought homeless people with them just to start occupying the hotel rooms.
Wow. Okay.
Which, yeah.
That's not going to bode well.
The housing is a human right, didn't you know? So whatever it takes to get what you want, including force and coercion, you do that to get what you believe is a right.
Oh, makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, so they gave us, inadvertently, they gave us a look into their playbook where, they say housing is a human right. Well, what is that going to come to on a large, grand scale scheme of things? Well, now we've got a glimpse. It entails probably civil asset forfeiture, like taking your house
Yeah.
if you live in the wrong spot. We need this house for the homeless,
Yeah.
so we're going to have to get you out of there.
Yeah, sorry, we're gonna just take what we think belongs to us, even though we haven't earned any amount of it.
No Chaz yet. Unfortunately, the SWAT team, they actually enforced the law this time, and they were able to remove and arrest. I think 10 of them are still in jail.
Oh, good.
So
I mean, maybe
yeah.
they did it so that way they could get housing in jail for a little bit. So, I mean, a lot of these people that's probably the best place for them.
That was the long game. They
That
were
was
just
the
going to get
long game,
arrested
yeah.
so they could go to jail for free.
Yeah, go to jail and have meals and a place to sleep, even if it is a crap hole.
So aside from them giving an insight into their playbook and their tendency to use force and coercion to get what they want, this was interesting because they actually almost took over the country. I don't know if you knew this or not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they occupied this building, and they basically completed the same extent as we saw at the Capitol protest. So when the media is telling us that occupying the Capitol building means that you're successfully taking over the country, it's a coup, right?
Oh, okay.
So you see where I'm going with this now, right?
So we're gonna.
This group in Seattle got just as close as the group in the Capitol at taking over the country.
That's true.
Actually, they may have gotten farther because they actually occupied this for several hours.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I think, well, okay, I get it. It's a little tongue-in-cheek, right? We're kind of making fun of the fact that that doesn't necessarily meet the requirements of the coup. But, okay, so maybe they didn't call it a coup because there wasn't a guy in a Viking hat. Maybe that's the hinge of the definition of the word coup now.
Yeah.
It's got to have a face-painted guy with a Viking hat
And
to
an
be
American
called a coup.
flag or a Trump flag.
Right.
That's a real
yes,
coup.
there were probably no Trump flags. Yes.
Yeah, there was no Trump flags.
That was it.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah, those are the two key critical components that were missing from this that prevented them from taking over the entire country by occupying the building.
Oh, and it probably, you know what? It probably wasn't. They probably all didn't have the correct skin tone either to make it properly called a coup either. So.
Oh no, they were all white.
Oh, they were all white.
All these protesters are always white.
Yeah, usually. And it all gets blamed on the black people. So that's the worst part.
They had one of these hotel takeovers a few weeks back. I thought that one was in Portland.
Yeah, that was Raz. They were fighting against evictions.
Yeah, they were. For those who don't know, there's been a series of kind of occupation level events happening in Seattle and Portland and whatnot over the past few months. And I think the one that you're referring to, Dari, is the Red House.
Yeah, Red House Autonomous Zone.
Red House Autonomous Zone, which was Raz, where they basically kind of locked down and occupied
a neighborhood,
2 blocks roughly, and then the police kind of tried to come in and evict people, and they wouldn't let them, and it was.
Yeah, they were fighting eviction, and when you're fighting for people who haven't paid their rent, it's okay to assault police officers and force them out of your neighborhood, and still continue to not pay your rent either.
So yeah, I just wanted to inform you guys, the country almost got taken over again. You just didn't know it because it wasn't covered in the news.
Yeah, well,
some reason that coup doesn't get covered.
Well, of course not, because it's not significant.
It was missing the critical components of
the
Viking
flags.
hat.
Trump flags,
the Trump
and
flags and the Viking hat. Yeah. Now we know what a real coup is anyway.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I wanted to see what a real coup was, and
hotels are part of the bourgeois. Landlords and those running services are meant to oppress you. That's right.
Yeah. Don't you know?
Yeah, all minus one's a good point. That is their narrative.
That's why it's okay to storm hotel rooms.
But where do they get this narrative? How do they become a human adult that has ideas like this? Well, the answer to that question is contained in our next story. Which
is about what else do we talk about other than we talk about school?
We have to talk about the schools, and this is we're keeping you guys fresh, hot off the press, the latest and greatest on what's going on in these schools, so that you can be informed. And this is from ABC 7 News in San Francisco.
So it's right across the,
It's about an hour and a half away.
Yeah, right across the wetlands.
We're in the epicenter, folks. That's what we're trying to say. We are here reporting to you from the epicenter.
From the hellmouth itself.
Are acronyms a symptom of white supremacy culture? San Francisco United School District makes another disputable decision.
Hell yeah. Progress.
In the name of progress. First, the San Francisco School Board decided to rename 44 schools because they are named after people with ties to racism or slavery, and we talked about that a few shows back. Now the Arts Department has taken a bold move by changing its name VAPA because they say acronyms are a symptom of white supremacy culture.
What is... Oh,
okay. VAPA.
What is a VAPA an acronym for?
Don't know.
I don't know. Well, okay, so
Maybe we'll find out.
we're going to get rid of acronyms but just to replace it with acronyms we don't understand? Like, what?
The director of the department said, "We are prioritizing anti-racist art instruction in our work." So they got rid of the acronym VAPA, which is short for Visual and Performing Arts.
Okay.
So it's not like white supremacy is awesome. Doesn't make up the acronym.
It just means visual and performing art.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So there's nothing. It's not the content of the acronym. It's the acronym itself.
Yeah. So we're just gonna get rid of. So we're not gonna say STFU, or
No, that's not an acronym. That's just an abbreviation.
Oh.
An acronym is a new word that gets made out of an abbreviation.
Oh. Okay.
Like I mentioned earlier, laser or GIF,
Okay.
or well, some people say GIF, but I don't think that's correct.
I say GIF.
GIF is definitely the correct way. SCUBA is also an acronym. Stands for Self-Contained Underwater Breathing Apparatus. Laser is an acronym for Light Amplifying something. Look, somebody look it up.
Somebody just Google it.
I
You know the thing.
I knew what it was at one point, but it is an acronym. And okay, so why are we getting rid of acronyms? Let's find out. Here.
Okay.
In a letter, he explained that acronyms are a symptom of white supremacy culture. Yeah, we heard that already.
Okay.
The use of so many acronyms within the educational field often tends to alienate those who may not speak English to understand the algorithm.
The acronym.
And that's where the white supremacy comes in, because people of other languages might not know the words that make the acronym up.
Okay. So, because people can't learn and speak proper English, like we have to stop using acronyms.
Thank you, stalking horse.
To dumb ourselves down. I don't know. Like this is.
Well, we talked about that. That's the whole goal.
Whole lot of baloney for sure.
It's not. I don't think it's the goal, but the direction that they're going in is dumbing us all down.
Yeah. Want us to all be stupid.
So instead of working harder to understand the acronyms and understand the words,
or just saying, hey, like, what does that mean?
we're going to yet again placate to the lowest common denominator.
Sounds great.
That's based on a 1999 paper written by author Tima Okun titled, quote, White Supremacy Culture. Okun told me that our culture perpetuates racism when things continue to be written down in a certain way.
1999.
That is the most...
So they're basing something off of a paper that was written like 20 years ago.
It's the latest and greatest. All right, we're talking about social studies here. This is cutting edge.
Cutting edge social studies from 20 years ago.
Cutting edge for social studies field, a study that's 20 years old.
Wow.
But the San Francisco Unified School District uses so many acronyms on a daily basis that if you go to their website, there's a section on how to find out what their acronyms or abbreviations mean. Mm-hmm. So I'm seeing some confusion in chat as well. LGBTQ, BIPOC, those aren't acronyms. An acronym is like a pronounceable word that comes out of an abbreviation. So those are just abbreviations. Mm-hmm. But this person just uses the word abbreviation. No, that was the explanation of how they have so many. So not going after abbreviations yet, maybe because they love abbreviations so much, LGBT, that kind of stuff. But they're on they're going to be next.
Okay.
Just you wait. Like we don't even. What is this? What is this squiggly line on the paper? I don't even know what that is. That's white supremacy. You think I know what language is?
You know what this is for?
That's an L.
They're coming after MAGA. Because, like, if you don't understand what MAGA means...
MAGA is an acronym.
It is an acronym, and if you're...
wow.
That's where it stems from, saying MAGA.
Well, they say it's from 1999, but you have a great point in that MAGA is probably the most used, most popular acronym of all time.
Mm-hmm. Right now, in the last, 5-6 years.
Yeah.
It's been... I mean... Even Ronald Reagan said "Make America Great Again."
So maybe what they're going to go off if this kind of takes hold, what they'll do is they'll say that anybody who uses the MAGA acronym is a white supremacist. Not that you don't struggle to find ways to call a Trump supporter white supremacist these days, but that's another method by which you can do it. He's using an acronym. He's a white supremacist.
Yeah. Well. Totally.
When we asked Mayor London Breed for her opinion, she was confused and thought we were asking her about the issue of renaming schools. He's like, what? Acronyms? What?
What's an acronym?
Listen to this this non-answer. We definitely need to have a robust conversation about what we need to do, but not a rushed conversation.
Okay, well,
so
that means there's going to be no conversation whatsoever then.
There you go. That's your daily dose of school insanity. There was an additional video that I was almost going to cover and throw in here, but you can find a video. I realized it was from October 2020. The Board of Education commissioner in this school district was basically talking about how meritocracy is evil. Meritocracy isn't fair, and they're not going to base any of their schools off of meritocracy anymore, and they're just going to do random like lotteries for everything.
Oh, okay. So the person that works their ass off all day, all night, goes to school, does what they do, doesn't
It's
matter.
not fair.
It's not fair.
The fact that he can work harder, the fact that he has a higher IQ is not fair.
Yeah, it's not fair.
That is not fair.
Not like there's any work put into that whatsoever.
It's offensive to my dyslexia.
1999, they were partying, really partying then. Dari says Prince was partying back then. Yes,
Yeah,
he
they already
was.
say MAGA white supremacists. It doesn't matter. They don't need any more reasons to do it.
Right.
Let's take a visit over into Black History Month, shall
Yeah,
we?
because, we should all celebrate Black History Month.
We need to be aware of how to fix systemic racism.
We need to close the wealth gap.
And that's what CNBC is going to give us some insight into right here. Black leaders offer several key steps to help close the racial wealth gap.
Yep. Let's listen. We need to listen to the leaders. These are the ones that know what's up.
Now I haven't read this article. This is one you submitted, so I haven't read this. I don't know what's in here, but I'm gonna go ahead and take a random guess before I jump into the article. I'll just launch some predictions out
Okay.
there that they're going to present disparities in statistics, and then think that a disparity automatically means racism without providing any kind of actual evidence as to why that disparity is linked to racism.
A little bit, yeah. You're on the trail, yeah, for sure.
Well, it's not hard to make that prediction. You don't have to be a high IQ genius like me to make that
Well-
assumption, because their playbook is very
But again, because we're
played
not,
out.
but because we're not black, we don't have a say. So we have
No,
to.
you're right. You're right. I
we
got to
have
keep an open mind.
We have to keep an open mind and listen to what the black leaders are saying, and then maybe give our 2 bits about what we might think.
All right.
to
Let's get into this with an open mind. As the nation celebrates the achievements of African Americans during Black History Month, it is also time to look ahead. Black leaders have some advice for the next generation of African Americans about how to bridge the racial wealth and income gap in the United States, which has only been exacerbated by the coronavirus pandemic.
Yes.
The gap is glaring.
I just love the way that they say this kind of crap.
The median wealth for a white family, here we go, was $188,000 in 2019 compared to $24,000 for black families and $36,000 for Hispanic families. Okay, so a quick question before we continue on.
Yeah, that's. I was going to ask a question too.
Where are the Asians?
Yeah.
And where are the Jews?
And where are the Indians?
Let's get the Indians on there too, because I'm pretty sure those are all higher than the whites.
Yeah, I think they're all higher than the whites too.
Pretty sure.
And then a question to ask, like, why are white people making so much more money in comparison? If that is a true number, that 188,000 versus 24,000, like that's a huge disparity.
It is a huge disparity. I'll give them that. That is
Yeah.
a massive disparity, though. Okay, so let's play along. Let's play like we love Black History Month, and we're all about Black Lives Matter and all that kind
Yeah,
of stuff.
we want to help.
I am now hooked. I'm seeing this number. It's a big gap between 188 and
Yep.
24.
I
So
want to know what
tell me,
what do these leaders have to say?
Yes.
What can we do better?
Black Americans can expect to earn up to $1 million less than white Americans over their lifetime. A 2019 study by McKinsey and Co found.
That's not helping.
It's a little bit of a tangent.
Yeah, it's like,
They're just trying to like throw more statistics in there to make it sound worse.
yeah, right?
Okay, let's see. Here we go. Advancing financial literacy can help close the racial wealth gap, said American Ninja Warrior, co-host and former NFL star Akbar Gajimbaimila.
Whatever that is. G.
I bet if I watch football, I could probably pronounce that but I don't watch football. So
Yeah.
it gives you the power and the position to take action.
Okay. Financial literacy.
This guy is calling on people to push for financial education as part of the curriculum starting in middle school. Okay, so I'm on board with that.
I'm on board with that
I
too.
like that a lot.
That's a good plan. That's something that I believe is a good idea.
It goes for everything, not just blacks.
Not just blacks, for everybody.
There is no decent financial education in school today.
There isn't for all the kids.
And the ironic thing about it is if there was, the class would start like this. All right, most of you are here because you made an awful financial decision to take a giant loan out. Mm-hmm. You're going to be in a giant hole, and this is how you're going to have to fix it.
This is how you're gonna get out of it.
Yeah. Only 6 states require personal finance scores for high schoolers, according to the California-based nonprofit Next Gen Finance. In states without such a mandate, 1 in 7 students in schools with 50% or more pupils receiving free or reduced lunches are required to take a personal finance course.
Okay, so the poor kids that have to get the free or reduced lunch, they have to take the finance course, but
So-
the rich kids don't.
Oh, yeah, well, they continue on. They say in schools with a population of 50% or more black and brown, so mostly minority schools, only 1 in 22 is required to take such a class. So is that a failure of, I mean, is that white supremacy or is that a failure of the school,
I think it's more of a failure of the school.
which is probably taught also by
Well, and
minorities and women?
I don't like the fact that they think throwing money at it is going to like fix the problem, because it doesn't fix the problem. So again, like I agree, financial literacy, that's a good goal, but that's like only one facet of the problem.
Okay, so that was a pretty decent idea. Let's see what the next a football player again. Another football player. It's
Yeah.
weird how we're Okay, I'm gonna
We're going to take financial literacy advice from football players. Let's do it.
yeah, but also the tendency for blacks to think that becoming a rapper or a sports player are the only two viable career paths in their life. This article's not doing a good job of breaking that stereotype.
Definitely not.
For New England Patriots linebacker Brandon Copeland, becoming financially secure is more than just saving money. It's about learning to invest properly.
Okay.
Give me them stonks.
Give me them stonks.
I'm buying game stonks, he
I'm
says.
buying them stocks.
No, he didn't say that. In 2021, I'm thinking about how do I create generational wealth for my family. Instead of buying them toys, I'm buying the ownership of a company. Okay, well, all right, I'm on board with that too.
I'm on board with that. Like, that's not bad, but again, that's just a band-aid to the problem.
Let's see what Tiffany McGee, founder CEO of Pivotal Advisors, has to say.
Okay.
McGee hopes the next generation of black Americans has the courage to start a business.
Okay.
Ownership is how you create lasting wealth. So if you've been thinking about starting a business, know you have everything you need inside of you to get started.
Well, and if you look at that paragraph above it, it says when she was growing up, her father owned 2 retail stores, which gave McGee insights into how to run her own business one day.
Oh, so she had good parents.
She had good parents. That's the point that I was trying to get at with this whole thing.
Oh, yeah, there you go. That's a good point. Nobody's mentioned, the impact of parents and what this is generational wealth transfer.
They want to close in generational wealth and generational gap in wealth between blacks and whites, but none of them are talking about, hey, like, get married, have kids, stay married, own a business, or work hard, do what you do, invest, buy property, that good stuff. They're like I said, what they've suggested is kind of like band-aid suggestions.
Yeah, it doesn't really seem like it applies to the average black family. Is actually only valued at $24,000.
Exactly. Like,
so
telling black families that only make $24,000 a year to invest in stocks, it's not exactly going to help them.
Game stonk.
Yeah, don't like it's a good idea, don't get me wrong, but it's not practical for just regular everyday Joes that are living in squalor. I think encouraging families to get married, and have families that start businesses and have wealth together, because I think that's what's made white people so successful. Not gonna lie, and Indians and Chinese and Japanese is that they stick to the family unit, and
they have families.
They have families, and the families combine their wealth to create something.
Yeah, you don't build wealth over one lifetime.
Yeah.
Wealth is a compounding thing that happens over multiple lifetimes. That's what generational wealth means. When you don't have any parents to have a house,
And you don't have any grandparents either.
which doesn't, you're already off to a bad start. You don't have you're not in the right neighborhood to be in a good school. That's probably the biggest disadvantage right off the bat. And then, of course, you're not passing anything down to your kids. The whole point of nobody ever wants to pin any agency on the parents.
Yeah.
They always blame it on everything else. But that's where the majority of the responsibility is.
Yes.
To give you the head start, to give you the advantage in life. It's not like if you were to draw a pie chart, white supremacy would be a tiny little sliver, and then your parents would be the rest of the entire pie. If you're looking at a pie chart of correlation, impact to your outcome.
Your parents have a bigger
They're pretty much everything.
They're pretty much everything. I agree with that. That's why I wanted to talk about this article, because again, they're slapping band-aids, and this is on CNBC.
You could even argue that it's straight up propaganda, because they're trying to. It doesn't seem like it's intentional, but I mean, come on, they've already quoted like 3 football players And now with this last chick, or I don't even know if that's a chick or a dude's name, Dewardrick.
Dewardrick.
I'm
I
gonna
think
go
it's
with
a dude.
I think it's a dude. Let's say a dude wants the next generation of Black Americans to use their power to push Washington to pass policies that improve their economic health.
Yeah.
This is the exact opposite of what they should be doing. Look, they're crying to the government. They're crying to externalities to try and fix their situation, which is a complete and absolute waste of time when they could be actually improving their own lives
Exactly.
and setting up multi-generational wealth.
All they want to do is just get their policies in place in our legislature, and the solution is really at home and taking care of your families and building wealth that way.
Bill says it can't possibly be bad schools, gang crime, violence, welfare, single moms, absent dads, youth raising youth, corporate-led government dependency, globalist, debt slavery, depopulation, technocrat, oligarchy. Nothing to do with any of that.
Nothing to do with any of that.
Definitely just white supremacy.
Yeah, it's just, yeah. It's a culture thing. Honestly, that's pretty much what it boils down to, is the culture.
It's true.
And
but nobody wants to hear that.
Nobody
wants to hear that it's a problem that can be solved by personal responsibility. They want to hear that it's a problem that's an external source,
yes,
which I can then blame and then make them fix it for me.
No accountability on my end. I can, I didn't do anything because I have no control. It's white supremacists that have the control.
It's really sad if you think about it. If you listen to that last guy in the article that told you to use your power to change the government to get you what you want, you're going to spend your entire life advocating for some other entity to have more control over your life, as opposed to spending your life actually building something.
Yeah.
It's really sad. I mean, your entire life, you're just crying to the government all the time.
I think those people just drank that 1619 Project Kool-Aid all up and down. They were,
No, they were chugging it.
They were chugging it like it was Satan's, naughty stuff. But
just gallons and
just
gallons.
gallons of it. And that's fine. But those are the people that didn't have Black leaders in their lives, like Booker T. Washington, or hell, even modern day, like Larry Elder or Jesse Lee Peterson. Like they just were raised with that victim mindset. They were raised to just be hateful and just think that, their skin color is the one thing that's keeping them back. And it's like, no, maybe it's just your foul ass attitude,
There's nothing inherently, that's holding them back. They're born pure. They're in the environment pure until they get interaction from who? Their parents, their immediate peers, who all immediately start telling them, mass media, social media, everyone immediately starts bombarding them with the oppression.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's oppression. It's whether it's, lying about the fact that the system is white supremacy. They're all being held down by their own people.
Yeah.
And then they perpetuate that victimhood narrative into infinity.
Yeah.
As they just,
And we're seeing the repercussions of it with the way that their children are and the way that their children are acting in society and who those children are going to become. And
it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, it is. I agree.
Especially when you consider the external factors. Okay, so it'd be bad enough it was just the families, right? Reflecting this on themselves into infinity. But then these kids go out into the schools and they get taught about how acronyms are white supremacists.
Oh, yeah.
So they go out and they see, acronyms in the real world and they start crying because they think the whole system's against them.
Just because they can't understand the acronym.
It's bad enough to be just...
learn how to read then if you don't understand the acronym.
My point is it's bad enough to have your family just pumping you full of propaganda and telling you to fail because they failed and they don't want to blame themselves.
Yeah.
It's that then they go out into the real world and they're also told by schools and everyone else that the system is also racist when it's all just a lie.
Sad.
So
children of the lie for sure.
Welcome to Black History Month, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, hope you enjoy your stay for the next 30 days. We're going to be hearing nothing but how blacks are oppressed from some imaginary entity that nobody can see, feel, hear, touch.
Yeah, and if you're a black person and you don't believe that, then you are a coon or an Uncle Tom or whatever ism or is that they can think of to talk shit about you. So welcome to Black History Month. We're here, and it's only 28 days, Jeremy. So enjoy that.
So I posted on the locals.com page.
Locals.com.
Little self plug there. I posted a link to the brand spanking new Thomas Sowell documentary.
Oh yeah.
For those who don't know, Thomas Sowell is probably one of the greatest living thinkers of our time. He's an economist, and he published a lot of interesting studies.
He's
and
written a ton of books.
Studied all kinds of cultures.
And he's also a photographer too.
And it's a great documentary. He is exactly what you want to look at as a role model. If blacks were taught to look at him as a role model, I mean, if that became part of the curriculum to talk about Thomas Sowell instead of the 1619 Project,
Yes.
the entire black community would make a 180-degree complete turnaround within 20 years.
I think so.
I'm talking they would probably start to overtake Asians as far as wealth.
They could. They totally could.
They definitely could.
They definitely could. And I saw the Thomas Sowell documentary as well, and I thought it was awesome. I mean, I already knew quite a bit about him, but you learn a lot more because apparently he's very shy when it comes to speaking with
No,
media.
he doesn't do any interviews anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't do any interviews. He's very selective about his interviews. So the fact that he did this like bioptic piece about him was pretty cool. I was really, really impressed. Not to mention he's like just a very, very smart person. So
It's abuse to make children think they can't succeed through their own determination, merit, and hard work.
it is abuse, definitely.
Perfectly said, Athenian.
Definitely. You might as well beat the child.
Nothing closer fits the definition of oppression than telling them that they can't succeed.
Or that if you go outside, you'll get shot because of your skin. It's like, no,
Yeah, if you go to Kmart, you're going to get hunted by the cops,
no, like,
which is what they want you to believe.
or that if you're the only black person in a room, then, something's wrong. And it's like, yeah, no, sorry.
Let's take a jump over to the new YouTube affirmative action that's being pushed out.
Hell yeah.
Just to give you an idea of what's going to be happening on YouTube here next coming year, we're going to talk about their priorities for 2021.
Okay.
Growing the creator
Let's hear
economy, living up to our responsibilities, and helping people learn new skills,
Okay.
building the future. All that good stuff. That
Yeah.
It sounds nice.
All that hippy dippy bullcrap.
Yeah, so this is directly from YouTube. I got an email about this. They linked me to this blog entry. This is directly from Susan Wojcicki,
Wachiki.
the CEO of YouTube. So this is straight from her. And let's frame the situation here, shall we? As we settle into 2021, many of us are still trying to process what we lived through over the past year. The heartbreaking attack on the U.S. Capitol.
That happened in 2021.
Not only did that not happen in 2020, but the fact that they lead off with that, heartbreaking is not the word I would use to describe it.
Right.
It was just another riot. Nothing unlike what we've seen in Portland and Seattle for the last 6 to 8 months straight.
Yep.
The pandemic, well, just the fact that she leads off with that kind of tells you where this is going, right? That's why I brought that up. The pandemic, the contentious election seasons, and natural disasters like the wildfires in Australia and California. We came together in a long overdue moment to advocate for racial justice. Wait a second. I got to pause on that one too. We came in a long overdue moment to advocate for racial justice. First of all, what racial justice?
Yeah, what do you, like...
And why is it overdue? How is it overdue? We've been talking about racial justice for years.
Right? We've been talking about it since
But see, this is what
forever.
this is what they have to do. Instead of giving you an example of racial injustice,
They
have to tell you that it's long overdue. We have to advocate for racial justice.
I think they're gaslighting
They
us,
have to-
honestly.
I don't even know what gaslighting means anymore. It's been so misused.
It's like just psychologically misleading people to believe whatever it is you want them to believe, even if it's not true.
Well, maybe. I would just call this thinking past the sale because, first of all, what racial injustice are we talking about?
I know, right?
I haven't seen any white supremacy killings, any racial killings. Have you?
Me neither. I mean, no.
If we missed one, drop it in the chat. Maybe I missed a white supremacist killed a
Yeah,
black person. I
did-
don't know of any, but anyway, continue on. Reminding us that the effects of systemic racism are still felt every day around the world.
Oh.
No.
Not really.
But of course, the purpose of that sentence is to remind you that systemic racism is felt around the world every day.
Well, I mean, yeah,
Not that it actually exists. It's to reinforce the narrative.
there are definitely parts of the world where it's worse off, but to say it's systemic is
You know what this
a
is?
stretch.
So I get an image in my head when I read this paragraph. I get an image of somebody walking up to a computer, you know, in those movies where they want to enter a secure room and they have to enter the code.
Mm-hmm.
This is what this paragraph is. So it's the first paragraph. It primes you for the rest of what you're about to hear.
Oh gosh.
It's a code. They throw all the right keywords in there and everything, and then you get access, or they get access to your mind because you read these things. You read the buzzwords of racism, systemic racism, racial injustice, and then you open up like, oh, okay, she's on my side. All right, yeah, I'm going to accept everything she tells me.
Well,
it's like an access code.
Yeah, if I was
if you don't put in the proper combination of buzzwords, you don't get access to that person's mind.
If I was programmed, then definitely would fall for it.
Yeah, it's like some MK Ultra stuff.
If I was programmed, I definitely would fall for it, but because I'm not programmed, I'm like over here
Oh yeah, no. If I was into the social justice stuff, I would read that and be like, oh yeah, tell me more, Susan.
Yeah, tell me more, Susan.
I can't wait to hear more about what's gonna happen.
Yeah, tell me more about how you're gonna implement affirmative action.
Okay, so we're gonna skip down a couple paragraphs here to the supporting the success of all creators. This is what I wanted to focus on here.
Okay.
As we grow the creator economy, we want to make sure that all creators can participate in these opportunities.
Okay.
We heard concerns from creators across various communities, particularly in the Black community, about their experiences on the platform. But since we don't ask creators to identify themselves, it's difficult to understand what's happening at scale for different communities on YouTube.
Okay, so
you know what's happening next, right? She said it. She said, we don't ask creators to identify themselves. It's difficult to understand what's happening. So
yeah,
you know what's coming.
What's coming?
You know.
Segregation? Black YouTube?
Well, I don't know yet. Maybe that's 2022. But first, this year, they continue on to say, we'll start asking creators in the U.S. on a voluntary basis, it's voluntary for now, to provide us with their gender, sexual orientation, race, and ethnicity.
What?
This information will help us identify potential gaps in our systems that might impact creators.
Okay.
As we gather this data, we'll look closely at how content from different communities is treated in search and discovery and monetization. Meaning what? Meaning that if Black people happen to be getting less views, they're going to get an unfair advantage in the algorithm.
Oh, okay. Sounds great. Sounds like equality
Because
to me.
that's what gaps mean, right?
Yeah.
Gaps just mean, in reality, gap means that your videos aren't as good as the next guy.
Yeah.
Because nobody's choosing to watch a video based on the race. You don't get to 1 million subscribers based on your race.
Some people do.
Well, okay. Touche.
I was going to say, there's lots of freaking Black YouTubers that have a ton of followers just because they are like
well, maybe you have a good point. Maybe the white creators are getting less views than the Blacks, and they're going to give advantages to the whites.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it could be
No, that will happen 0% of the time. Precisely 0%.
I was going to say that's stretching. That's
0%
that's
of the
stretching,
time.
Jeremy.
This is not going to give any white people any kind of new views, which is why I plan personally on identifying as a Black transgender.
Cripple?
Yes, we'll go there. If that's an option, I'm going to say I'm a quadriplegic.
Quadriplegic Black tranny.
I identify as a quadriplegic Black tranny.
There you go.
And my views are going to go through the roof.
Probably.
So put your seatbelts on, folks. This channel's about to explode. All right. We think this effort will ultimately benefit the entire YouTube community, and we appreciate the partnership of the Black, LGBTQ+, and Latinx.
Latinx.
No, I'm going Latinx.
Good.
Latinx
I
creator.
hate Latinx.
Yeah,
That's
I'm not
stupid.
saying Latinx. That's the last time I've ever going to say that word in my entire life.
Good.
And Latinx creator communities who have shared their perspectives with us to make YouTube a better place for everybody.
Okay, well.
So that's, if you didn't think YouTube was rigged enough as it is.
Now they're like just out and saying that they're going to be rigging.
No, they're just straight up, hey, we're going to, depending on your race and sexual orientation, they've already, I don't know if you guys saw this, but there's a popular video going around about how if you make a comment in somebody's video with the right keywords, it blasts them super high in the search results. So they basically, what this means is they found out what the algorithm is for YouTube and how it looks at keywords in the comments. And when certain comments have the right keyword, they get higher in the search results.
Yeah.
So they're exploiting it to get videos with millions of views that should never get millions of views. But the exact same thing is going to happen here.
Yeah.
They're going to find the exploit in the system. They're going to find out that, if I just say I'm Black and quad gender or whatever.
Quad gender?
I just made that one up. It's brand new.
Hell yeah.
I'm actually 4 genders at once.
4 genders all at once?
If you question it, you're a bigot. Don't question it. And I'm going to get, way more views just for that. And what are they going to say? If I identify as Black quad-gender,
Quad-gender and crippled.
and crippled. What are they going to say? Are they going to look at my content? They're like, you don't look black. It's not up to you.
It's not up to you.
You made the rules.
I think I look black.
You just made the rules.
Yeah, you made the rules, not me.
I'm playing the game.
Yeah, I think I look black, so.
No, I identify as black.
Mm-hmm.
You have no say in how I identify.
Yep.
So you can't tell me yes or no.
Yeah.
You can't say some dumb shit like, you don't present yourself as black.
Tell me no. That's
No, I'm
hella
dead
funny.
serious. I'm dead serious.
I know you are.
How are they going to prevent gaming of the algorithm?
They can't.
Because by their own standards that they set up, they can't tell me that I don't identify a certain way.
That's true. Yeah, you figured it out, Jeremy.
So I plan on taking full advantage of this. I will voluntarily provide my race and ethnicity and sexual orientation, quad gender.
Quad gender, just make it up.
So that's gonna be a great time. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot more in here. I mean, they talk about vaccinations and how it's a priority for them to give out accurate medical information, which is why you see disclaimers on all the videos now.
If you talk,
That's a new thing.
yeah. If you have COVID in the title of your videos, it'll like
Yep.
have a
It
tag
puts a
on there.
disclaimer on your video
And it'll
saying.
say like, this is the actual information from the CDC.
So here's another. They have a whole paragraph on racial justice. So here we go.
Lovely.
We remain committed to our racial justice work and ensuring all creators can thrive on our platform. One important change we've identified is better shielding creators from harmful comments. Oh
What?
no,
So you're gonna censor people's comments?
not the comments. Anything
Okay,
but the
that
comments.
that doesn't sound very very totalitarian or anything like that.
We've begun testing a new filter in YouTube Studio for potentially inappropriate comments that have been automatically held for reviews. So creators have the option not to read them.
Okay, so they're not even gonna like let the creators read the comments to see if like they want the comment on their own video.
So they're gonna have an algorithm. So if you're a creator like me, what happens is there's a section you can go to in the YouTube backend that shows you all the comments that people have made on your videos. It's just one page that has all the comments. They're talking about here is making an algorithm that's gonna hide comments with a certain keywords in it because they're hateful.
Yeah.
So you don't even read them.
That doesn't sound very. I want to read them. I want to know who's hateful personally.
I read them all.
Yeah, of course.
Our
got to.
creators are the heart of our YouTube, and supporting our creator well-being is fundamental to everything we do.
And we just want to make sure that their feelings don't get hurt.
No, yeah, that's really it. YouTube said a bad word to me.
Somebody on some hillbilly on YouTube said something mean, and I don't want to read it.
Part of the whole risk of going on YouTube is the exposure you're going to get to retards who are going to make bad comments.
Exactly.
Nobody's immune.
Yeah.
I've gotten plenty myself.
Oh yeah.
And usually what happens when I read them is I just laugh. And I've never deleted one comment in my
Hell
entire
yeah.
life. Unless it's like one of those ones that's just a bot spamming for porn advertisements or something like that.
Yeah, because you don't want those.
Those usually get taken care of automatically. But I have never deleted one comment in my existence, and I never would.
Well, Jeremy, you are a little bit more emotionally stable than a lot of these fucking content creators out here.
Well, that's true.
A lot of these content creators like can't even handle a single debate like on their own. They have to have moderators. They have to have like somebody sticking up for them.
Do you even debate, bro?
They have to do the debates on their channel so that way the other person that they're debating doesn't have any like rights or any kind of anything towards it. So you know, they're a bunch of just fragile little twigs. So
Well, they've got a fund specifically for Black voices.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
So
and
they
they're
don't
gonna,
want to silence Black voices.
they're going to be bringing important stories about Black experiences around the world to YouTube, emphasizing intellectual power, dignity, and the joy of Black voices, and educating viewers on racial justice.
That's
YouTube's going to be educating you. That's right. So when you go to YouTube to look up how to paint a cabinet or how to change your oil, you're not going to leave without a class in racial justice.
Yeah, and then what about the Black voices that have been censored by YouTube?
We don't want to talk about those.
I know. Well,
Yeah, that's a
yeah.
little bit of a touchy subject there.
Just there's a song that got banned from the internet because it was two Black rappers that were in support of Trump, and they didn't even like mention Trump in the entire song, but that song got banned.
That's where this is headed. This is headed into 100% content moderation, where you basically you support the narrative or you get kicked off.
Well, fine, we'll happily
I
leave.
mean, we've already seen so many creators get kicked off the platform for with no explicit violations of any rules. But what happens is they'll ban you because you generally are in the wrong direction of where
Yep.
they want to go, and then they make up a reason for it afterwards. Everyone who gets banned off YouTube, all the high profile ones anyway, they always say the same thing. They say, I never got a reason. I didn't get any good explanation. I couldn't contact anybody. That's what happens. You just get banned, and that's it. One day you're gone. So make sure you follow me on Locals.
Yep.
weeklynarrative.locals.com, because
Hell
this is some hot fire we're spitting, and we may not be on the platform for too long.
Yeah, Athenian asks if it was Bryson Gray that got banned. No, they haven't banned Bryson. It was Topher, not Topher Gray. No, Topher, I forgot his name. Topher Brown, I think. His song is called The Patriot. It got banned off of iTunes. It got banned off Spotify. It got banned off of all of them. They just released a music video onto YouTube, and I'm surprised it hasn't even gotten banned yet. So
Listen to this. So that article linked to another article about YouTube being a more inclusive platform, and it says to encourage respectful conversations on YouTube, because that's what YouTube's always been known for, is respectful conversations. For those who, like me, who were there, like literally when YouTube launched and started using YouTube amidst all the other video hosting platforms that were out, probably stuff that you don't even know about,
Yeah.
like Metacafe, like Live Leak. There were some other ones for, like R-rated videos of stuff like gore and violence and stuff like that. When when YouTube first came out, it was just a cesspool, an absolute cesspool. For years and years and years, it was a cesspool. And now they're starting to try and take control of that, sterilize it, remove everything that made it great. No content providers are doing anything truly independent, interesting. It's either supporting the narrative or you get no platform.
Yeah, well, that's why there's just going to be a surge in all these other platforms that are under
It's
YouTube.
basically turning into a TV channel.
Yeah, a little bit.
Where the content is all heavily moderated. They have control and management capabilities over the big channels.
YouTube is the FEC or FCC.
Yeah, and then anyone who's doing anything independent or outside, a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, whatever it is, both sides, they're gonna get squeezed out.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, that's what they want.
it's not just an
ultimately.
anti-right thing. The extreme left is gonna get squeezed out too.
Yeah, it's
Because they're
pretty
turning it
soon-
into just like a sterile TV platform.
Pretty
basically.
soon, YouTube is just going to be a bunch of like JoJo Siwa and all her garbage,
I
and
don't even know who that is.
she's like a kid YouTuber.
I don't even want to know.
She came out as lesbian a couple weeks ago, and
course.
everybody's like, "Yay!"
Well, I'm
and
sure
I'm
she's
like,
getting a lot of views for that.
and I'm like, she's only like 16, I think. So what the hell? Anyways, there's
Oh
gonna
my
be
God.
it's just gonna be a bunch of JoJo Siwa and a bunch of like Ryan's World, which is another kid YouTuber. It's gonna be a bunch of like beauty tutorials and gossip. That's it. That's what YouTube is gonna
They
be.
want it to just be brain destroying
Yeah,
propaganda.
just gonna be a bunch of propaganda, just garbage, just whatever
Yeah.
gets monetized.
Black experiences. That's right, Athenian.
Yeah,
Get used to that term.
Yeah, black experiences, because black people experience things way differently than the rest of us. Don't you know?
Does YouTube follow Hitler's rule on race, where one needs only 2 black grandparents to be considered black, or the Democrats' miscegenation rules, where a single drop makes one black? Yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even have a single drop.
Yeah, you're
I'm 100%
You're
European,
100%. So,
If they look at my DNA, I might be screwed, guys.
yep.
Can I-
They actually dug into you.
What's up, MA? She says, can I plug a YouTuber, Barricade Garage? He's a fantastic, and everyone in the stream would love it. Yes, I'm a subscriber of Barricade Garage. He is hilarious. Another great black content creator.
Yeah.
We're going to do our own, maybe that's what we'll do. It's Black History Month.
Yeah.
Let's elevate some black content
Some
creators.
black content creators.
Today's
and
content creator that we'll elevate is Barricade Garage.
sounds good to
I
me.
definitely recommend going and look at his channel. It's hilarious content.
Okay, we let's make that a goal for every stream this month.
There we go.
We'll bring up.
So I think we've just earned another 30 or 40 days of immunity from being banned because we
Yeah.
just supported black content creators.
We have said from the beginning we support Black lives and we support Black History Month, so we're on board with this. So
The
let's
only
do
narrative I support is a weekly narrative. That's
it.
what I like to
Yes.
hear. Properly brainwashed.
Yes,
No, I'm kidding.
she's joined in the brainwashing.
I thought the cam, let's see. Okay, still a lot of good educational type videos if you'd like to build or fix things. Oh, believe me, I'm building my own truck right now and definitely learning almost everything from YouTube.
Yep, his truck is going to be pretty freaking cool. Not gonna lie.
Yes. Oh, there he is. Erg Splitting Loudon Boomer.
Hell yes, best name ever.
We are progressive. Thank you for your acknowledgement of our progressiveness.
Try.
Your acknowledgement is noted.
We
Your
try.
acknowledgement is acknowledged. Let's continue on to another comic story. This is really, our stream is basically just pointing out hilarities in the political, social, cultural world.
I guess.
This next one is, you guys are going to love this. I'm telling you.
Yes.
Okay, this is brand spanking new.
Hot off the
Just
press.
updated like 2 hours ago. 2.5 hours ago.
Like, yeah.
From CNN Politics, the best source on earth, right? The most transparent,
Yep.
true, unbiased source.
Unbiased as hell.
So you know this headline is not a lie because it's from CNN.
Okay.
Biden administration prepares to open overflow facility for migrant children.
Oh. I thought he was trying to reunite families.
Oh man, I'm sorry, I can't help myself from laughing at that. But what we're
fine.
talking about, folks, is kids in cages.
Hell yeah.
If you didn't understand the euphemisms, overflow facility.
That's the kids in cages.
That's a big cage. That's all that means.
It's one giant cage.
It's a giant cage, and the kids are going in it because of Biden. This is Biden's America, ladies and gentlemen. This is Biden's America. Kids are going in cages. Where do I sign up for the coup? Because this is just getting out of hand. I can't take it anymore.
Hell yeah.
From CNN, the Biden administration is opening an overflow facility for unaccompanied migrant children apprehended at the U.S.-Mexico border. The federal agency tasked with the children's care told CNN in his statement.
I thought the kids that were crossing illegally came with their parents. At least that's what they
Oh,
were
yeah,
told.
the parents.
Yeah, the parents.
Mm-hmm. The Health and Human Services Department will reopen a facility in Carrizo Springs, Texas that can accommodate about 700 children. Can cage, I think that's the word you're looking for, CNN.
Yeah.
About 700 children and can be expanded if necessary. Oh my God, they can expand it to more cages.
Heck yeah.
The reopening of the facility comes with an increase in apprehensions of unaccompanied children on the southwest border, fueled in part by deteriorating conditions in Latin America and a perceived possible relaxation of enforcement. Oh, nice. I like how you snuck that in there. A perceived possible relaxation of enforcement. Wow. Did you like that word magic right there?
Yeah, it sounds
That is
great.
a nice spell of word magic right there. Perceived possible relaxation of enforcement. No, what you're talking about is the election of Joe Biden.
Yeah, you're talking about Biden.
Because of the deteriorating conditions in Latin America and the election of Joe Biden.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to say, CNN. Let me help you out there and decode your spell. And reduce capacity at limits at other facilities due to COVID-19. It also comes as President Joe Biden rolls out new immigration executive orders tackling migration to the U.S. southern border. So there you go, folks. This is Trump's. I was conditioned.
Yep.
I was going to say this is Trump's America, but this is Biden's America.
Yeah. Welcome to Biden's America.
Well, all joking aside.
Thanks to the people that voted, the 80 million dead people that voted for Joe Biden.
Okay, it's a unfounded claim. Don't ban me, YouTube, please.
Yeah, don't ban us, but it's not unfounded.
All joking aside, the kids in the cages thing was just an emotional ploy from the start.
Oh, it was.
Okay, the kids in the cages is actually a good thing.
Oh, I think so too.
And if you're smashing your keyboard in rage right now because I just said that, let me explain to you why.
Okay.
Because you haven't heard the whole story, and you already know it because you talked about it already. But what's happening is these kids are coming to the border with parents.
Quote unquote.
Parents, quote unquote. I'm doing air quotes with my fingers right
Yeah.
now. Parents. And they don't know if they're actually their parents or not.
Yes.
They have no way to validate whether they're actually blood relatives or not. Because what happens is that these adults come across with children to use the children to get in. And the children are often molested, abused, raped, assaulted, all kinds of bad things. Okay, we've seen instances of
Kidnapped too.
a lot of them are kidnapped,
Yeah, they're like kidnapped and left for ransom.
or worst case, they're being trafficked.
Yeah, they're being trafficked into this country.
The
for
cages are in
labor
place. The
or whatever.
cages are in place to prevent kids from being trafficked and raped and abused and all that kind of stuff. Are you against child rape?
I'm totally against
Are you
it.
anti-child child trafficking?
I am.
So you should be pro cages.
I'm pro
because the
cages.
cages are a temporary holding spot where they
Yes.
hold the kids while they do DNA tests
And it's to try to find their parents too, in case.
and to properly identify them with their quote unquote parents.
Because a lot of these kids, like we said, they're being kidnapped. Like they're being taken against their will and trafficked across the border. And then they're apprehended by Border Patrol. Border Patrol separates them from the person that they're apprehended with to verify that this person is related to them in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
And they're finding that it's like 30% of the time the kid's not even related to the person they're apprehended with.
Is that the percentage?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's about 30%.
I didn't know that. Yeah,
That's a high number.
that's a massive number.
That's a massive number for something that the left is claiming isn't happening. When we've seen it. Like when Trump put up the wall and started doing better enforcement against on the wall, and were apprehending more
Well,
people.
it was the lowest hanging fruit that they could go after to attack the whole immigration issue that he was trying to
It's
talk
like,
about.
oh my God, kids in cages, how horrible. Yeah,
Right.
it is horrible.
Because he saw a picture of something from the Obama era
Yeah,
with a
you
kid
saw-
behind a chain link fence.
You saw a kid behind a chain link fence and freaking with a space blanket, I think was what.
Yeah,
those,
yeah,
What are,
yep.
what are those things called? And all of a sudden, it's like tugging at the heartstrings, and people are all of a sudden give a crap about what's going on the border, and their solution.
But they never, all those stories of the space blankets and the chain link fence never told you why the kids were in there.
And then on top of that, their solution is what? To open up the borders and let them just come willy-nilly?
Yeah, just traffic the kids in
Just
for free.
traffic in the kids for free, no consequences, like Border Patrol, just get rid of them because they're racist, and even though most of them are Mexican themselves or Latin American themselves, and they're actually there to help people, because a lot of the people that cross illegally, they don't even know that it's a crime, that they can't do it.
Well, see, what was interesting is that, actually it's in the intro to the actual weekly narrative intro video. You can see the first clip is a giant crowd of people, migrant caravan coming up from, I think, Guatemala it was, or something like that.
Yeah.
We heard a lot about it in the past, last week, but now we've been hearing nothing about it. Maybe this was kind of as a response to that.
Yeah.
Because what they don't tell you is they are right. There are terrible conditions down there, and these people are coming through countries where gang violence is overrunning everything. They don't have very good understandings of how the civilized world works. So they show up to a border. They think they can just get through.
Yep.
Not without knowing that there's a lot of people who are trying to do very bad things that may be right behind them, right next to them, and they have to go through the same controls to get through as everybody else.
And then I've heard that the migrant caravan is so bad in Mexico that Mexico has even closed their southern border and made it harder for people to cross their southern border.
I've heard that as well.
So it's not a race thing. It's not that we hate brown people.
Well, brown's not a race anyway.
Yeah, it's not that we
Neither
hate,
is Mexican.
yeah,
Mexican's not a race.
It's not that we don't want.
A lot of Mexicans are white.
Yeah, I know, right? A lot of Mexicans are freaking paler than me.
Yeah.
I just don't like the narrative that they're pushing of that it's a race thing. It's like, no, it's...
Well, here's what we do. Since we are alt-centrists and we participate in the language wars, although we are emotionally detached from politics in general, we do participate in the language wars. So what I'm proposing is that anytime somebody makes an argument for kids in cages, we call them... what do? They say anti-science if you're against global warming. We need to say they are anti-child safety, or they're pro-child trafficking.
There you go.
You're pro-child trafficking?
You're pro-child trafficking.
Oh, you don't like the cages? You're pro-child trafficking.
There you go.
You're pro-child rape. There you go.
There we go. That'll get them.
That's a nice one.
That's a good one.
So if anyone tries to talk about the cages, they're pro-child rape.
It's just like, I forget who was it a few weeks ago when we did the stream. They told me to instead of saying SJWs or social justice warriors, to start saying anti-white, because if you say you're anti something or you're pro something really bad, if you're pro child rape, then people are going to be
exactly.
Oh crap, I didn't even think about it from that perspective.
No, you got to play the language wars, baby.
Yeah,
you got to play the language wars.
Well, because if you try to come at it from my point of view, where it's I don't want a bunch of illegal people running my country, they're going to think, oh, that's racist. It's no, I don't want human trafficking going over my country. So if you play it from that angle...
Remember, these are the people who didn't even know what coyotes were.
I know.
Because when Trump mentioned coyotes, they were all oh, what are coyotes? What is that?
Yeah, coyotes.
Trump thinks coyotes are bringing kids across the border.
He's no, he's talking about human traffickers.
Because they knew so little about immigration that they didn't even know what a coyote was.
I knew what coyotes were because my freaking Spanish teacher made us watch El Norte, which is I
knew what coyotes were because I was hearing news on my local news channels when I was living in Phoenix every week about trucks full of immigrants being pulled over, being in crashes, immigrants dying in houses where they're being 80 people in one house because it's a transfer house where they store them and then they move them afterwards. All the time, constantly, but you don't hear that unless you're in the local area, which is why these people have no idea what's going on with immigration and the border.
And a lot of people don't know this about Sacramento, but Sacramento is actually one of the biggest human trafficking hubs in the world.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Well, because if you think about it, we're right in the heart of California, and where we are is located there's connections to 4 major freeways going in every direction. So, and we got the port in San Francisco, so you got bodies of humans coming from China illegally.
Well, we're the dead center of the West Coast.
Yeah, we're in the dead center of the West Coast.
That's probably why.
Yeah, and so, we have Interstate 5 that connects the West Coast, the entire West Coast. You have 50 that connects us to the entire rest of the country.
That makes sense.
You have 80 that connects us to Nevada and can go across the country as well.
Yeah, it goes across the whole country basically.
Yeah, so it is a huge problem.
So you guys, don't be pro-child rape.
Yeah, don't
okay?
be pro-child rape. Put the kids in cages.
we like to verify the parental lineage of the children coming across the border. I'm not even. This is what's great about it. I'm not even saying don't let them in.
Yeah.
I'm saying let's verify the parental lineage.
Yes, let's make sure these kids are coming in with their parents.
Yeah, personally, I'm not pro-child rape. If you are, that's your own personal decision. I mean, that's kind of weird in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm not personally.
I don't know if I want to hang out with you or
Yeah,
talk to you.
I'm not welcoming to that type of my community, but don't be pro-child rape.
Yeah, don't be pro-child rape. Put the kids in cages and make sure that their parents are who they say they are.
Fight the language wars, people.
Yep.
Start calling people pro-child rape if they talk about cages. I'm
Hell
dead
yeah.
serious.
Let's do it. Well, it's the only way to kind of get through to these people because, like I said, you try to come at it from whatever angle that'll get people to wake the hell up. But if you take and accuse them of being pro-child rape, it'll definitely like get them to think about things a little bit more. So let's do it.
All right, we got a lot of firearm chat going on,
Oh yeah.
which is child rape attracted is not cool. Yes, thank you. Stalking horse.
No, those are called minor attracted people, MAPS.
Oh my god, yeah.
And those fuckers need to die.
Oof, harsh.
I mean, that's just me. Line them up.
I heard most Mexican illegals are actually Guatemalan illegals who passed through Mexico illegally first. Probably.
Probably, yeah. Sounds about
It's
right.
not like they have any documentation.
Yeah, most of them don't even have a birth certificate or anything. My thing is, why don't they just stay? I understand that their countries are horrible and there's gang violence and they don't even have the rights to protect themselves like we do in America. Like they don't have Second Amendment in Mexico. The military and the gangs are the ones that have all the guns. Private citizens aren't allowed to protect themselves. So I don't blame them for wanting to leave America, but
Leave Mexico?
leave Mexico or come to America.
No, me neither.
But at the same time,
I would do anything I could to leave.
it's like
I don't blame him one bit.
I don't blame him anything. I don't blame him one bit. But at the same time, it's like stay in your own country and fight and like don't let these fuckers.
No,
have
I don't even agree with
everything.
that.
I know.
I would do whatever I could to
I
leave.
just don't want them to come here. That's just my ass. Like I don't want you to come here. Bring your shit here. No, thank you.
Yeah. Well, you're a little more hardcore with it.
I know. That's fine.
No, I don't. Okay, so you can empathize with what's going on down there and understand it's a rough situation and say that I would, if I was in their position, I would do anything I could to get
Yeah.
out. But you can also simultaneously be over here and say, what we've got going over here that makes this so good is not going to last if that keeps happening.
I think so too. Yeah.
So you can have both viewpoints simultaneously.
It's like the ones that if you're a genuine refugee, like your family's facing some kind of political violence, whatever. If the fact that you don't have a good paying job and you want a better paying job, get in line like the rest of everybody. Like I'm serious.
No, we need to, if we were to try and open up to this issue a little bit more, we would have to come up with some kind of classification for fleeing your country due to violence or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's gang violence. It's not war.
Yeah, it's not war. It's not political violence. It's gang violence.
Yeah, it's
different.
And the problem is there's no talk about it in America at all.
Yeah.
So nobody's even aware that's happening down there. But Mexico is a shithole.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Controlled by gangs, violence, people chopping each other's heads off all the time,
And
hanging
they're
them from overpasses.
producing and manufacturing drugs and sending it to us.
Yeah, no, that's a real thing. But it's a problem that we're just we have it swept under the rug, and then we wonder why there's so many people trying to come across the border.
Yep.
It's like, maybe we should try and look at the source.
Maybe, yeah. Something.
But then it opens up a whole another can of worms of, what do you do about that?
Build a wall. That's what I say. Build a wall.
There you go.
And be a little bit more picky about who we let in, honestly, because I think there's a lot of people here that don't deserve to be here at all either. So.
I think we should start exporting people that don't earn their way.
Right? Sell them to China.
Yeah, if you're not a net taxpayer for more than 5 years in a row, just spitballing here, folks.
Sell them to China.
Just spitballing.
Sell
I'm sure they could definitely hit some rocks in a quarry in China.
Sell their debt to China, indentured servitude, just like the Brits did.
We have what you see on your screen now is a study that's been cited left and right in social media these days for anti-conservative bias in social media. So I believe this study just came out a day or two ago, maybe a few days ago. This is from New York University.
Okay. NYU.
Yep, and NYU Stern, Center for Business and Human Rights,
Okay.
February 2021. So steaming hot science.
Hot off the press.
This isn't a science bite. Today we're not doing a science bite. We're doing a science chomp. Okay, this is a science chomp. We're going to examine this study that's being spread around the internet right now that says the title of the study is False Accusation, the unfounded claim that social media companies censor conservatives.
Okay.
So great, awesome. We've got a study that can shed some light on the data behind conservatives being censored, right?
Yeah.
I've been waiting for this for a long time.
I've been waiting for this too.
I want to see the data.
Because they're saying that they're not doing it, so if they got proof of it.
They're saying they're not doing it, but what I'm seeing is
it's
very different.
and I want to see.
How do I reconcile this? Somebody just give me some data, because as objective observers, as alt-centrists, we're more interested in the data. What does the hard data say? Like Thomas Sowell himself, he would only look at the hard data and make a conclusion from that. So let's take a journey through this study. Let me guide you on a journey through this study to equip you with the knowledge that you need to effectively fight back against any misinformation you see about this study online, which you will see if you haven't already. I've got plenty of stuff highlighted through here that we're going to touch on. I'm not going to read the whole study. This is 28 pages. It's
long,
girthy study. So if you guys want to read it,
nice and girthy,
just Google it yourself. But what we're going to do is hit some highlights, and I'm going to point out maybe some flaws, maybe some key points of interest.
Okay.
So what the study does is it starts out by introducing you to 2 pages worth of information about Trump being banned off of Twitter and the whole Capitol insurrection.
Okay.
So they're kind of, in a way, they're poisoning a well, because they're
already putting the bias out there.
Yeah, they're already putting the bias out there by talking about how social media was the reason that
the riot happened.
The insurrection happened, basically, yeah. So, and then they give a couple of examples of how conservatives say that we're being censored on YouTube, which we don't need to go through. We've all heard those. Tucker Carlson has said some things, Ben Shapiro has said some things, Jim Jordan has said some things.
I like Jim Jordan.
And then they talk about the Trump ban, and then they start to go into the different platforms and, Facebook, Twitter, things like that. So what we're going to do, along the way, coincidentally and hilariously, they point out various different ways in which Republicans outperformed leftists on social media. So you got fancy charts like this that say Trump dominated Biden in Facebook engagement, where Trump got 87% of the engagement on Facebook and Biden only got 13%.
Yeah, Biden still won, huh?
Yeah, the most popular president of all time.
Yeah, most popular president of all time only got
13%
of the engagement.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, nothing.
Nothing fishy about that.
Don't look into that. But the real meat and potatoes starts in section 2, which is breaking down the bias claim.
Okay.
So what is the bias claim? The bias claim is that conservatives are more censored on social media platforms than leftists.
Okay.
So let's get into it.
Let's see. They say they got the data. Let's see it.
In response to a conservative outcry, the company, talking about Facebook, did several things. Founder and CEO Mark Zuckerberg invited a group of right-leaning commentators like Glenn Beck and Tucker Carlson to a conciliatory meeting at his Menlo Park, California office.
Okay.
Separately, the company did an internal investigation, determining that while it couldn't rule out the possibility of an isolated improper action or unintentional bias, unquote, there hadn't been any concerted effort to curb conservative viewpoints. Facebook, nevertheless, fired the trending topics staff and eventually shut down the feature altogether. So this is in response to, I don't know if you remember this, but the trending topics on Facebook was apparently modified against conservatives, and there was some whistleblowers that came out and said that was the case. So in result, they fired the entire staff, who was basically, they got rid of the trending topics and they fired the entire staff that managed it.
Okay.
So there was no bias, but they fired their entire staff anyway.
That's okay. That doesn't make whatever. Fuck Facebook.
Remember, they're trying to make an argument that
there is no bias.
But also, at the same time, you'll find that they're trying to throw Facebook under the bus. Because I don't know if you've noticed this trend in media lately, like CNN, Facebook, whatnot. They don't like Facebook.
Why? That's helped to make them tons of money.
They don't like Facebook because Facebook has been the main platform the conservatives have had much success on.
That's true.
And Zuckerberg has probably done the least out of all of them to censor them. So we'll get into more about why, but let's continue on. So one thing I want to talk about is this is literally on page 6 of the study. Okay, we're in a study about conservative bias in social media moderation, and they state, one can debate whether the trending topics episode was overblown, but it's beyond dispute that Silicon Valley tech employees are overwhelmingly liberal. Political donations tell the story. At Facebook, 92% of individual political action committee and soft money contributions to federal candidates and parties in the 2020 election cycle went to Democrats.
Shocking.
92%.
That doesn't shock me.
That's not like a majority. 55% majority.
Yeah, it's not.
That is basically a monolith.
That is a monolith.
That is a monolith with a couple exceptions.
Yeah.
That's what Facebook is.
And those
But it gets better.
Okay.
It gets even worse.
Okay.
At Google, the comparable figure was 96%.
Holy shit.
At Twitter, 97%.
They were trying to go full 90, like 100%.
No, it's almost but judging how is it possible to organically get 96% Democrats in your company?
I don't think that's possible.
Is it even organically possible?
No, it's not.
It's almost like they were building that into their hiring process, asking potential employees, "What's your political affiliation?"
Yeah. Are you liberal or conservative?
How on earth could you ever otherwise get 96 and 97%?
Oh, they're definitely bias there.
They're like, "Oh, you don't have a nose ring. We're not hiring you.
Yeah.
You don't have purple hair."
Well, I mean, you have a nose ring and purple hair, and even though I don't agree with that, I'm still going to hire you because you're a Democrat.
And then the people who wrote the study, they have the nerve to continue on and say, the question, though, is whether personal preference for Democrats leads to bias against conservative content and personalities.
So let me ask that question in reverse. If it was like, Glenn Beck, where it's mostly conservatives and very few liberals, like, would they say that there's a bias there?
Do you think that Fox News' stories, because 97% of them are conservative, do you think their stories are going to lean conservative?
Yeah. Well, it's like
It's so absurd.
It's such a dumb. Oh my God, they're like really trying to push this.
We're not talking about 55%, 52%, 92% at Facebook,
It's
96% at Google, and 97% at Twitter. These are monoliths.
It's an echo chamber.
The definition of a monolith.
Yeah.
There's a statistical discrepancy there, the 3%, the 4%. You can't have a perfect system, so there's going to be a few conservatives that leak in, but this is a monolith.
Or they're people that just prefer not to say what their political party is.
So we're 6 pages into the study, and they're already not making a good case for themselves.
Yeah, they're already...
Really, really not.
I figured that this was going to happen. Facebook isn't biased, but they do hire a lot of people who lean one way. But they're not biased. They're not biased. We
And
swear.
Twitter.
And Twitter. We swear they're not biased just because we say so.
And Google.
And Google. But they're not biased just because we say so.
So there's a couple more pages of, statistics on which outlets got the most interactions on Facebook, which I told you guys in the stream before, and I mentioned it to you several times, that the top performers on Facebook were always conservatives. It's a boomer platform. It's where all the older people are, the conservatives. So you got Breitbart, Fox News, Daily Caller, guys like Ben Shapiro and Dan Bongino. They were always topping the charts for daily interaction on Facebook.
Yeah.
Which is what this study does reflect. So they admit that. But that's completely separate. They use that as an argument against conservatives being censored. They say, "Oh, look at how much engagement. Look, Fox News is number one.
Yeah, they have high
Breitbart's
engagement, but
number
guess what? If you get too high in the engagement, then they get censored or banned or pulled off the platform because they're too popular.
It's just a false equivalency. We're not saying that conservatives can't get good engagement on Facebook. We're saying conservatives are more targeted for bans, shadow bannings, things like that.
Exactly. And
So-
they're not proving that that's not happening.
They try to cite, this is gold. This is, my
Okay.
God, I laughed out loud when I read this one the first time. Remember the time frame we're talking about here. We're talking about from 2016 election onward, okay? So they cite here another study from Harvard, Northeastern University, and the University of Buffalo. They published congruent findings in 2019. In a study of more than 16,000 Twitter accounts active during the 2016 election season, they determined that fewer than 5% of people on the left or in the center ever shared, quote, fake news, unquote.
Oh, that doesn't sound right.
Oh, man. So think about that time frame. Okay, 2016 election season. What were some of the big stories back then surrounding Trump and the election that may or may not have turned out to be massively fake?
Grab him by the pussy.
No, that was real.
Well, he did say that, but the way that they framed
No. You've already forgotten the big one, the biggest lie of all time.
the fine people hoax.
Well, okay, no, that's a good
But
guess.
that was after.
That's probably number 2.
Yeah.
So that's also a lie. But number 1, it's a country in Asia.
China? I don't
Really?
know.
Russia.
Oh, the Russian hoax.
The Russian collusion hoax.
Yeah.
The biggest, most perpetuated hoax of all time, spread by everyone from Twitter up to the mainstream media companies,
Yeah, that's
CNN, MSNBC, everybody, everywhere on the entire spectrum was spreading the fake news of Russia.
Yeah, I totally forgot about Russia.
But somehow, these studies from Harvard, Northeastern University, and Buffalo say that only 5% of people on the left ever shared fake news. Only 5%
Yeah,
of
that
people ever
doesn't
shared a
sound
story about Russia.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right.
Major bullshit alerts are going off on that one.
We need to have like a
I would say it's 5. I would say 5% of people didn't share fake news.
right.
But see, here's their free get out of jail card. Is they continue on towards the bottom. They say these scholars defined quote fake news as, pay attention now, the output of entities that lack editorial norms and processes for ensuring accuracy.
Oh, so they didn't have little tags on them for accuracy back then.
A completely subjective definition, which basically allowed them to call entities like Fox News and Breitbart fake news.
Oh yeah.
Anything from Fox News or Breitbart fake news, and anything from CNN or MSNBC was real news.
Yeah, real
and that's how
news.
they got around. See, if you actually apply that definition for real, then yes, the 5% number does seem real because every single outlet that they think is real news doesn't even qualify to be considered into that percentage.
That's why, like, I personally believe that 5% is low because we now know that the CNN and MSNBC were spreading some of the biggest spreaders of fake news. But again, like we've said, because they are the mainstream, because they're the most trusted.
They have processes for
the processes for ensuring accuracy.
So that doesn't qualify as fake news.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a bit of a topsy-turvy world we're living in, folks.
Leave Russia alone. What's up, Ruby? Welcome. Sounds like they redefined who is the left. Oh, it gets... Yeah, no, I didn't even talk about this. Listen to this. They said 11% of people on the right and 21% of people on the extreme right shared fake news.
That's extreme right.
Exactly. I have many questions about that. First of all, how the hell do you define what's extreme right?
Yeah, what is extreme right? Like,
we all know it's just a fake term they made up with to group all the people that they really disagree with, like the really vocal conservatives.
yeah,
they just put them in there.
Like the Nick Fuentes out there and shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like Milo Yiannopoulos,
Yeah.
who's so extreme.
Yeah, he's such an extreme.
That he agrees with every Trump viewpoint.
He's an extreme right winger. The gay Trump supporter that talks about loving black dick all the time. So disgusting.
So that's what they're using as citation for saying that the left doesn't share fake news. So we've already seen them talk about how, you know, the right is performing so well on social media, and look, the left doesn't share any fake news because of the arbitrary definitions that they've set up within the study to make it seem like that they don't share fake news.
So it seems to me like the people who run this study are probably in on it. So.
Well, you know, you get some more clues like this right here where I've highlighted. They cite according to the Anti-Defamation League.
Oh God.
Yeah, so you know based on that
that that's just a bunch of
where this is coming
crack
from.
pipes.
And then they try to make the claim that, well, none of the conservatives have ever made a successful court case based off of censorship. But then they also state right in here, because all the cases were dismissed because of Section 230.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. This is going to come up again later in the study as we go through this. They cite the reason that no cases have been successful is because of Section 230. Keep that in mind.
Okay.
It will come back later. Let's continue on. They continue their attack on Facebook.
Okay.
So, again, the left does not like Facebook. So what they do now is try to attempt to assassinate Mark Zuckerberg's character.
Okay.
Yep. in this scientific study, they want to assassinate Mark Zuckerberg's. It's so scientific.
So scientific.
We're all pro science here. We want to
Yep.
assassinate character in studies.
Yeah, we want to assess. No, that sounds
Mark
great.
Zuckerberg, meanwhile, was personally reassuring prominent conservative figures that Facebook meant them no harm. Over several months in 2019, he reportedly had a series of informal talks and off-the-record dinners with the likes of Fox News host Tucker Carlson,
Oh my goodness.
syndicated radio host personality Hugh Hewitt,
Oh gosh.
and Ben Shapiro,
That white supremacist.
co-founder of the conservative website The Daily Wire. In September 2019, Zuckerberg held meetings in Washington with then-President Trump and his son-in-law and senior advisor Jared Kushner.
Oh my goodness.
What a white supremacist.
Total white supremacist.
The following month, the CEO and his wife, Priscilla Chan, attended a private dinner with Trump at the White House. In reaction to media coverage of his encounters with conservatives, that's just how they frame that. It's hilarious. In his reaction, in reactions to media coverage of his encounters with conservatives,
Yeah.
like he was encountering a lion in the wild
Right?
or some kind of
Like
predator.
he survived something. He survived a meeting with Trump. Oh my goodness.
Zuckerberg responded on Facebook, quote, "I have dinners with lots of people across the spectrum on lots of different issues all the time,"
Which is what he should do.
which is a valid response.
Which is what you
That's
should
what
do.
an owner of a business does.
Yeah. They want to, like, especially when
But
most of the people that are on his platform are there to look at news regarding the president of the United States.
do you see how they're trying to assassinate his character?
Oh, I know. They want to
He
make him out to
spoke
be like an evil person
He
because
spoke with Tucker
Yeah,
and Trump.
yeah, it's the same thing that the media did when Trump had I think it was the college football team that won a few years back, and he bought the McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
And the media just like made it out to be like, oh, he doesn't care, but look at what the past presidents have done. It's like, are you serious? These guys are happy.
Oh, yeah.
I would be happy. One, meet the president would be cool.
So I know what you're thinking. At this point, as we're going through the study, we're already on page 16, okay? And remember, this is being cited all over leftist media,
Yep.
social media as, oh, look at this, conservatives are being biasly
Or being biasly moderated.
Yeah. So we finally get into some hard data. And this is what I was looking for when I first got into the study. I was like,
Okay.
show me the data.
Where's the data?
Yes. The data.
Where's the data?
One of them is plural, one of them is singular. I don't know which because I'm
don't
not
know.
a science guy. But
Whatever.
anyway, section 3, assessing available data. Quote, there are no empirical studies that definitively assess the claim of anti-conservative bias.
Oh.
All right. Yeah, I guess we're done here.
Okay, I guess we're done here. Then why the hell did you publish this?
Yeah.
Why did you publish this if there's no
Well,
empirical studies?
Maybe there's something in here that we can go off of.
Okay.
Maybe there's some hard data that they're just not telling us about or something like that.
Well, they just said that there's none, so
Maybe there's something. Okay, let's continue on. But
sounds like a sociology
they say
paper.
but there are a variety of analyses and rankings that indicate that conservatives enjoy a prominent place on major social media platforms.
Well, of course they
See-
do.
See, this is the entire point of this study. And this is all you need to know right
Okay.
here is that there is no empirical data. There's no empirical studies that support definitively assess the claim of anti-conservative bias.
Okay.
So this study does not support. It's not.
It's not supported by any kind of science or any kind of actual like empirical data.
But instead, what they do is they try to say that as a proxy for the lack of censorship
Mm-hmm.
that conservatives suffer, look at how well they perform. That's exactly what the sentence says.
Yeah, it sounds
they
like
say
it.
conservatives enjoy a prominent place on major social media platforms.
Well,
So
yeah.
they must not be banned. They must not be censored.
yeah.
That's what this whole
Okay,
study is trying to say.
Yes, they enjoy having a prominent place on the social media platforms, but that prominent place is constantly under threat and under fire by these social media platforms because they're constantly being messaged like you're on the verge of getting banned. You've been reported. You've been reported.
Well, what the study doesn't measure is the subjective application of terms such as hate speech,
Yes.
encouraging violence.
Yeah,
where did Trump ever encourage violence? Where did all these right-wing people who got banned ever do hate speech?
It's hate speech is whatever just you disagree with.
That's the point. Yeah.
Yeah, so
They continue to bury themselves in a hole by admitting that they have no data. So let's take a look at some quotes from the study here. They say, from YouTube, as far as YouTube goes, from the modest amount of data available, one can safely conclude that conservative views are not systemically excluded from YouTube.
okay.
Well, hold on a second there. Nobody was ever saying that conservatives in general get less views
Yeah.
than left on YouTube. What we're saying is conservative creators get banned at a disproportionate rate.
Yes.
So it's basically a straw man,
Yeah,
right
they're
there.
basically just dancing around the actual like argument that the
They're
conservatives
they're trying to play word games to give the people who read this many different reasons to say, oh yeah, the conservatives aren't being banned. There is no modest.
Yeah, there is no banning of conservative voices. There is no shadow banning. Conservatives are still have prominence on these platforms. It's like, okay, yeah, but it's like three or four of them, and then the rest of them have been banned already.
So as far as Twitter goes, they say, but liberals are excluded in this fashion as well. Pinning down precise proportions is impossible because Twitter doesn't release sufficient data. So they're admitting right here that they don't have sufficient data to say whether or not conservatives are being disproportionately banned.
Okay, so then don't release a study about it and say that you
That's
know.
kind of the whole point of the study, is that you don't have enough information to release a study. So this study is just kind of like a propaganda
Yeah,
piece.
it's propaganda. It's bullcrap.
It's character assassinations against Mark Zuckerberg. It's all these statistics about how conservatives are outperforming leftists on all the social media platforms, which is true.
Yeah.
Because they're just better. I mean,
Yeah, we're better at memeing.
Sorry.
We're better looking. We're better at
But that's
memeing.
completely
Our policies make more sense.
No, we're way better at memeing, way better at humor. But that is completely independent of us being banned at a disproportionate rate.
Yeah.
Which is what we're actually talking about. That's the actual topic that we're talking about. So they continue on and they say, on the right, Twitter doesn't target conservatives or Republicans as such, but people who violate its rules by calling for violence, harassing others, or advocating hateful ideologies. Again, what they're doing is they're saying Twitter doesn't target people who are right-leaning. They target people who are calling for violence, who are harassing others.
Who are doing this, and
We're
this.
advocating hateful ideologies. What they don't say in the study is that the majority of the people who get banned are the end result of mass reporting campaigns from leftists.
Yeah.
Who are just against people. It could be the most mundane statement.
Yep.
I think the secretary of DHS or somebody like that got banned one day for saying that we need a wall because it prevents, like child rape type stuff. And he got banned for that. There was nothing in there. It's just that people didn't like it.
Yeah.
So many people reported it that it got into their system and it got him banned. They don't talk about that in here though.
Yeah, of course not, because they don't count that as any kind of like targeting from Twitter. It's just targeting from users of Twitter or users of social media.
But who would they use if they were going to throw one person under the bus to use as their example of everyone on the right who's extreme? Who's the one person that they always love to use? The worst person you can think of.
Alex Jones?
No.
No? Trump?
No. Richard Spencer.
Oh, he's not even a Trump supporter anymore.
That's what's hilarious.
He's a
listen to
Biden
this.
supporter.
Listen to this. They say among the right-leaning users who have faced enforcement action are white nationalists like Richard Spencer, Jared Taylor, and David Duke, as well as white nationalist organizations such as the American Nazi Party, the Neo-Nazi Traditionalist Workers' Party, and the American Renaissance Magazine.
Okay, well,
Richard Spencer literally endorsed Joe Biden.
he did. But
They're so conditioned to using Richard Spencer as the boogeyman for the alt-right
and David Duke
that they
and all
don't
these
even
guys.
they don't even look into the information anymore. They don't look at any current data.
Yeah.
They don't look at Richard Spencer's social media posts and say, "Oh, what's old Richard up to these days?"
Oh, he says that he's endorsing Joe Biden. Like, that was the best part. Like, why did they have to bring... Like, they're so stupid.
So they try.
Whoever published this study should be fired.
They tried to pull the Richard Spencer card without knowing. They called him right-leaning, and he literally endorsed Joe Biden. He hates Trump.
Yeah.
Richard Spencer hates Trump.
He hates Trump because Trump hates him. So
It's hilarious.
he wanted like recognition from Trump and didn't get it. So now he's on the Biden. He's on that Biden train.
Example number 13 of why the study is an absolute joke.
Yep, and this is what people are taking as fact nowadays.
So
yay.
they do provide some recommendations towards the end of the study, like any good study does in the conclusions section. They give us their conclusion, but they go a little bit further here and they give us some actual recommendations.
Okay.
Which you could argue might be the whole entire point of this study.
Okay. Well,
Based on the validity of the data contained within. It's pretty awful.
after reading all that bullcrap, we might need some solutions.
So here's what they say. A couple of these things I do agree with, actually. They say, provide greater disclosure for content moderation actions.
Okay.
Agree 100%.
Let us know. What can I say? What can I say?
Number 2, offer users a choice among content moderation algorithms. Agree 100%. So
Okay.
when you log into Twitter, do you want the curated Twitter or do you want the free-for-all Twitter?
Okay.
That's basically what they're saying.
Offer 2 different Twitters.
And then number 3 recommendations, they say undertake more vigorous, targeted human moderation of influential accounts. Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes.
Yeah,
Let's,
no.
we're chill on that one. Basically, that's saying like the whole Trump situation, as he's president, he's more moderated than anybody.
Yeah, that's not fair.
He's getting his posts deleted. He's getting like notifications on them, flags on them.
Yep.
Trump was the front runner for the most, I guess you could say, the prototype for all these new features and functions that Twitter rolled out that we've never seen before. We've never seen someone's tweets get, whatever the hell they're called, get hidden. We've never seen them have flags on them that are all kinds of weird. We've never seen them say, this post may contain false
I
information.
doubt we're going to see any of that on Joe Biden's posts on Twitter.
Never, no, because all he's ever going to post is Black Lives Matter and all that kind of garbage. But he's going to keep posting, don't worry, folks, the checks are coming. That's what he's going to keep posting.
Yeah, don't worry, guys, I got you.
But what they're recommending is that more targeted human moderation of influential accounts. I definitely disagree because we don't need what we saw with Trump happening more. We need that less. Trump is moderated at the same level with the same rules as everybody else. There's not a separate group of rules on the social media internet world for people who have bigger followings. That's not how this works.
I don't agree with that either. Pump the brakes.
Number 4, release more data for researchers. Yes, agree, 100%.
Yes.
And then guess what? Okay, here we go. The study dies right here.
Okay. Good place to die.
If it wasn't already dead, the study dies right here.
It got beat over the head like a baby seagull.
Yeah, so if you guys see this cited in social media and on leftist outlets and all that kind of stuff, just remember this line right here. This is the only line you need to remember. The question of whether social media companies harbor an anti-conservative bias can't be answered conclusively because the data available to the academic and civil society researchers aren't sufficiently detailed.
Okay, so your study is full of shit.
They can provide nothing beyond what people have just experienced in the actual environments. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
They cannot disprove our claim that conservatives are moderated at a higher rate. That's what they're admitting to right here.
Good.
It's in writing in the study itself.
I mean,
garbage.
Good on them for just admitting that they're pure garbage.
But I do agree with that point. I think the social media companies do need to release more data.
They do. I mean, they have all of it.
If you're on the team that says we want to keep using social media, I deserve an access to the platform and all that kind of shit. Well, I'm not on that team, but if you're on that team, then yeah, I agree. And then here we go. Number 5, pursue a constructive reform agenda for social media. The part that I have highlighted in here, it says the social media industry, for its part, must strive with urgency to do a better job of protecting users and society at large from harmful content. Progress that can't wait for the resolution of what might be years-long antitrust battles in the courts. Pump the brakes.
Yeah.
You don't need to protect us.
Yeah.
That's not your job.
I feel like this is like a step towards like teaching people to self-censor in person and getting them to it's just making people even more sissies, honestly, because it's constructive reform for social media. Like that's just
well, I mean, compare this with what we saw with the YouTube study we looked at. What do they want to do with the YouTube thing? The biggest effort that they're doing is we want to make sure you don't see any harmful comments.
We want to make sure that your emotional well-being is taken care of. I'm sorry, like if people can't handle other folks saying truth or saying things they don't agree with, then don't look at it. It's simple enough.
Doug Masters says, "Data? What data?
Data? What data?
Data.
Data.
Exactly. No data. This is a giant study, 28 pages long with no data.
Pretty much just garbage and filth, and it's
well, it does have good data about how conservatives are dominating social media platforms. Even that's the hilarious irony.
Dominating even though
the hilarious irony of the study is that they cite all the ways in which conservatives are dominating social media while still being disproportionately
censored and shut down.
Shadow banned.
That's what. So this is good. This is good press for conservatives. Cool.
So I mean, you've got guys. It's, and I'm not just talking BS here, okay, guys. We're talking about Twitter, where Antifa accounts are actively organizing violent riots on a weekly basis. that have been doing so for months and months and months, sometimes years. We're talking about YouTube accounts where there are communists going on there who say things like, we can't live with Republicans, they want you dead.
Yeah.
We can't live with them, basically insinuating that they need to exterminate us or get rid of us somehow.
Zap us.
And enforcing, and encouraging communism and things like that. This is not a very hard to discover bias. Okay, it's very out in the open.
It's there.
And it's not actually, it's the high performers, the ones who are actually impactful, the ones who make a difference, the ones who make you think. The guys like Alex Jones, the Milo Yiannopoulos.
Yeah.
They're a little bit offensive, sure.
Yeah.
But they're effective. They're
They
effective
are.
communicators and effective marketers.
Yes.
Which is why they need to be eliminated. We can allow conservatives on the platforms who are just kind of boring and
boring,
ineffective and not as flashy.
Yeah.
Those are still on there, but it's always the effective ones who get banned first.
It's true. You're
Which
not
is what
wrong
we
about
see.
that.
And we're not seeing that on the left. The effective ones on the left, the big names on the left, they're not getting banned.
Oh no. Why would
So
they?
that's a standard that's being applied to the right only.
Yeah.
You don't need a giant 28-page study to see. You just need to be paying attention.
Well, I think all the people on the left really aren't that effective, not gonna lie. Like, some of them may be.
I mean, they're effective for their side.
Yeah,
that's
they're
what I mean.
effective for their side,
Yeah.
but they're not effective of, like, getting people from the opposite side to listen to them and believe what they have to say. Whereas, like, Alex Jones was pretty good at that, even though he was crazy. He is crazy.
You remember how I said that they referred to Section 230 as the reason that all the court cases from the conservatives got thrown out?
Yeah.
Well, guess what their recommendation number 6 is? Work with Congress to update Section 230.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's a pretty good solution.
What a joke.
Yeah.
Oh, like, yeah, no, Section 230 is great. Look at all the court cases that were thrown out as a result of Section 230.
But we're gonna work
we need to
we
update
need
Section
to update
230.
it. We need to update it so that way we can censor even more.
This is the worst document that I've ever read. I read a lot of studies.
Yeah, he
and this is
does.
the worst one that I've ever seen that calls itself a study.
Yeah, this is pretty bad, Jeremy, not gonna lie.
Pretty awful. So hopefully that was a thorough deconstruction of that one for you guys.
Hope you guys enjoyed.
I'm sure if you read through, you'd find your own inconsistencies. You know, we skipped over a lot. There's definitely a lot in there. I would definitely
Yes.
recommend reading it so that you're informed of what the left thinks they're saying. But it's not true.
It's definitely not true.
That's the moral of the story on that one.
And that's the end of that chapter.
So against all odds, conservative-leaning accounts are still outperforming all the others. Yes, exactly, Holly. That's
Yeah,
what this study
correct.
basically says, is that even though they are being targeted, they're still outperforming.
Still thousands of
But-
people that watch Steven Crowder on YouTube, even though, he's probably getting shadow banned.
For as much as the conservatives aren't as good as community organizing and, forming groups and being just generally collective in nature, they are much better at memes and humor,
Yes.
which are the two fastest and easiest ways to propagate your content across social media
Yep.
and the internet in general.
Yes.
I would say that is the reason, not the single reason, but
That's one of the reasons.
the largest contributor to why the right is succeeding so much on social media.
yep.
And the left don't want to admit that, because they don't want to admit that the right is better at art, they're better at humor, because they've always considered themselves
Yeah,
as the
they
ones who are
consider
superior at art.
they consider like the hippy dippy with the hairy armpits. A
But
good
anytime the
artist.
left tries to meme, I mean, the meme of left can't meme is really true.
It is so true.
Left cannot
The
meme.
left is freaking terrible at memeing.
Basically, for those who don't know what the internet lingo is that we're talking about here, meme is just kind of like an internet joke type situation where the left cannot joke.
Yeah, they don't have humor. They don't have a
It's-
funny bone.
It's sad.
They really don't.
When they try to, it's sad.
Well, if anytime a comedian, I mean, this is what comedians have been saying for decades now, is that comedy is slowly dying because people are just getting so offended at every single little thing a comedian says. So humor is dying as we speak, and it's sad because I love humor. I think, like you said, humor is one of the easiest and fastest way to connect to people. So when you can tell a joke and we can all laugh at the same joke, that's a real connecting thing. But the left, they get so uppity about every little thing that you can't even crack a tranny joke anymore. Like, come on,
No,
man.
You can't crack any kind of jokes.
You can't crack
I mean,
any black jokes if you're not black. You can't crack any gay jokes if you're not gay. You can't crack any tranny jokes if you're not a tranny.
It's true, and it's like it's kind of a tangential argument, but they kind of use that as a targeting mechanism. So they find effective humor, they find effective communication, and then they hone in on that, almost regardless of who it's being perpetuated by, but they've been so conditioned to think that, oh, superior humor is coming from a conservative. So they'll look at conservatives or anyone who's really good at memeing, for example, and they'll target it in the same way that they do conservatives. Case in point, if you don't believe me, Wall Street Bets.
Yeah.
Remember what just happened with Wall Street Bets? They linked Wall Street Bets to white supremacy, to anti-Semitism, to all that stuff. Because what is Wall Street Bets? It's just a meme site. It's just a meme. It's all jokes.
Just a bunch of nerds posting their memes.
And if you don't believe me, then let me show you this picture that I found on Wall Street Bets. It made me laugh for a good 5 minutes straight here. This is for those of you who are still paying attention to the GameStop thing. I am, and I found this on there. This is an example of one of the memes that you would find on a site like Wall Street Bets. This is a stock chart of pricing that is an upside down because the stock price is plummeted, but they want to believe the stock price is going up, so they inverse the chart and then they overlay a
gorilla.
A gorilla.
A big old gorilla.
So in the stock world, you make kind of like charts with lines and shapes that show what the trends are going to be. But the idea here is that the stock trend is following the shape of a gorilla. So it's a good investment.
Hell yeah.
That is
solid.
That is the kind of stuff that we're talking about when we're talking about memes and jokes. And, like I said, they're using that as a targeting algorithm.
Well, yeah, they've got to do something.
How about that airline food? Yeah, exactly.
What's the deal with airline food?
It's about on par with their comedy.
Yeah, they're still living off knock jokes.
Comedy is the canary in the coal mine. Very well put.
Commander Osa says, if you can't be offensive, you can't be funny. Exactly.
Conservative Inc. is too tepid and weak. I'm sick of Shapiro being a whiny bitch, bending the knee to their narratives. Yes, well, Shapiro plays that. He knows his market. He's playing to the biggest market segment, which is the tepid, weak, oh, I'm a conservative, but I'm not going to do anything about it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest conservative market, and he's playing to that because he knows that's where the dollar is. That tepid dollar, to play off of Bill Hicks' joke. Tepid dollar, big dollar.
Huge. Robert says, Delaney, as someone impacted by the effects of chemtrails, I think you'd have more sympathy for Alex Jones. I have some, but not entirely all sympathy for Alex Jones.
Burn.
Super big burn.
I think that was a lesbian joke.
Yeah, well, maybe a California joke too.
Are you offended by that?
No.
Do you want to report Robert?
No, that was a good joke, Robert.
I can ban Robert from chat right now.
I love Robert's jokes.
I have the power to do that. Do you want to ban him from chat?
No, I'm okay.
Oh, okay.
I'll survive.
All right.
They just make your jokes, your lesbian jokes just make me stronger and more lesbian. So feed me your lesy jokes.
Harambe Party 2024, yes. Exactly, buy Birch Gold. So you guys have it. You know, our science chomp of the day.
Yep.
Now you know that study is complete BS, and you are equipped to go out into the world and defeat those who will present it as an argument against you.
Although I doubt they will, because most of the people that are arguing over this stuff are not very smart anyways. So
well, that's true. Just keep it in your back pocket for a rainy day.
Yeah, just keep it in your back pocket. You know, keep it folded up and stuffed in your wallet like that condom from 20 years ago.
There you go. Guys, just a reminder, for those who weren't present at the beginning of the stream, we are now live on Stitcher, iTunes, Google Podcast, and Spotify.
Heck yeah.
So you can get the audio version of this, if you'd prefer to listen to it afterwards, on any of those big tech platforms that we will likely soon be banned off of.
Yes, we will.
So
we hope for
get them while you can.
Get it while it's hot.
And if you are listening on those platforms, you can watch this live stream twice a week on Tuesdays and Saturdays, 7 p.m. PST.
Yep.
We are live streaming on youtube.com/weeklynarrative.
We do an after-hour stream on locals.com too.
I'm going to switch up the marketing on the after-hour stream. I was thinking about that. We're going to call it the Inner Circle.
Okay.
We're doing an Inner Circle stream for those of you who are part of our Locals community, which is the private community outside of big tech where we can group and rally in case we get banned.
Okay.
Which, again, is fairly likely considering our topics of choice.
Yes.
So definitely make sure and join us there, weeklynarrative.locals.com.
Heck yeah.
And on that note, I think that's it for this week.
I think so too.
I really appreciate you guys joining and watching.
Heck
you
yes.
guys are the stars of the show.
You guys really are. You guys are awesome. Y'all are smart, beautiful, funny, just charismatic. You guys go for it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And on that note, we'll see you on Saturday, folks.
Saturday it is.
7 p.m. PST.
Let's do it.
See you later. I'm going to play out the intro because we got to get pumped up with the song.
Yes.
Let's do it. We'll see you guys on Saturday.